Welcome back. This is Rosa Clemente. We're here at the National Conference on Media Reform in Boston, Massachusetts. This is Free Speech TV, and we'll be streaming panels and workshops, plenaries, have ongoing interviews, and in fact, in a little bit, I know a couple people we're going to interview in a couple minutes after our next guest, Roberto Lavato and Kim Ives. So let friends know, we're here, Facebook, Twitter, tune in if you're not here at the conference. On my right is Amitabh Pal, the managing editor of The Progressive, one of my favorite magazines. And he also has a new book coming out. So let's talk a little bit about The Progressive. How's the magazine doing? Let people know the website, and then let's talk a little about the book.
Yes, Rosa. The magazine's been doing well. We've been in the thick of things. Just a few blocks away from our office, literally 4 blocks away, there have been protests of a magnitude that haven't been seen in decades in this country.
Tell them where that's at, in case they don't know.
Where it's at is the protests are continuing. Scott Walker, the governor of Wisconsin, is continuing his anti-labor onslaught, and the resistance is continuing too. Things aren't of that scale as they were a few weeks ago, but people are still protesting almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, and what happened yesterday in the Supreme Court in Wisconsin, where they magically found 14,000 votes? It's like a George Bush kind of nightmare again.
Incredible. And it looked so suspicious. This person was a Republican operative before who claims she found thousands of votes that she somehow had with her, but they weren't recorded. It's because she had forgotten to use the save button or the send button. Looks very suspicious, and now so the new round of protests are regarding that. The challenger, Joanne Kloppenberg, is trying to raise money to request a recount because the state won't do it, because now the margin is so wide. So, it's an ongoing battle, absolutely.
And you're in the thick of. You're literally 4 blocks away from seeing, for almost 2 months, history in the making. I'm curious to know what have you seen as it regards younger people? Has it been a diverse kind of movement? I was there actually about a month ago, and one of the rallies I went to, I was surprised that there were a lot of young people in high school. Wish there were always more people of color, but I think the movement itself is something, like you said, we haven't seen. Can you just talk a little bit more about Madison, Wisconsin, and how that's also happening in other places, Ohio and Indiana, and the need for progressive media to have the ability and resources to cover this on every level?
Yes, Rosa. It's been so gratifying and so refreshing. Young people have been out in numbers, that were, to me, completely unexpected. High schoolers leaving school in support of their teachers whose pensions will be cut, whose healthcare will be savaged. Of course, a lot of college students, UW-Madison being the focal point of resistance. So it's been really, really gratifying. And also, yes, it's been diverse in terms of race and ethnic background too.
So a lot has happened in our world as it regards revolution in Africa and in the Middle East, and you have a new book. So, let folks see the book.
Yes, the book is very topical. I joke it's topical and dated at the same time, slightly dated, because I wrote this in the fall when Egypt and Tunisia hadn't happened yet. But it's about Islam and nonviolence, and it talks about multiple examples within the Muslim world of non-violent mass resistance, non-violent protest, successful protest, Muslim Gandhians, Muslims in other parts of the world, most recently the Iranian Green Movement, and also the role of non-violence within Islam as a religion.
The title, it's Islam Means Peace, Understanding the Muslim Principle of Non-Violence Today. And like you said, we're seeing revolution happening. And young people frustrated, unemployed, some very educated, some not, really using new media, social media too, to get their message out. But talking about peace, I think it's something in America that when they've equated violence and Muslims together, right? So the conversation is never about peace or, this culture within a Muslim ethos or principle, that this isn't really how most of us roll, you know, and how do we get that message across, especially to younger people that are getting these messages that Muslim people are just terrorists and violent? In America, they're getting that message.
Yes, Rosa, you were so right till about a couple of months ago. Now, fortunately, the picture is a bit more complex. I think it's gotten through even to the mainstream media, even to a mainstream audience, that there have been this wonderful mass non-violent movements, especially in Egypt and Tunisia. So that has complicated the picture a bit, but you're right. Even now, the predominant portrayal of the Muslim world is one in which violence rules. And of course, there's violence on a daily basis, unfortunately, there in some countries, but that's not the norm. And these mass demonstrations and uprisings in these countries have shown that non-violence has such an essential part to play in the Muslim world.
Even though the governments are violent towards the people, the people have been, you know, incredibly resolute and organized, and you know they're not going to stop. This is their lives, you know. So let the audience know again the Progressive Magazine website, because daily you guys are on the ground as it regards the labor strikes that are happening in this country. And again, the title of your book.
Yes, the magazine's website is www.progressive.org. We are updating almost on a daily basis what's happening right in our backyard, almost literally. And we have been essential in covering this, as I can say with pride, no other national media outlet, for obvious reasons since we are there. My book's title again is Islam Means Peace, which is not my quotation. It's the epigraph. It's from Gandhi. And Gandhi said that, and that's why I borrowed it from my title. So please do visit our website. We've been getting a good amount of traffic ever since the protests began. But you'll get some really essential background and information on what's happening in Wisconsin and elsewhere.
And I think it's important if people if you could donate a little bit to the Progressive. Like Amit said, they are on the ground on a daily basis updating. And although national media has the resources to cover it, it's obviously not in their interest to cover it. So please go to the Progressive. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. And thanks for that plug. Yes, we do need the money. As my boss, the editor, Matthew Rothschild, says, we are a non-profit, literally and figuratively, both. So thanks so much for that.
Oh, no, of course. And again, this is Rosa Clemente, and we're at the National Conference on Media Reform. This is Free Speech TV, and we'll be right back.